Hi, welcome to Bruce's Garage. I'm Bruce, and this is my garage. Today we're going to look at two glass coatings and compare their performance. The first one is the Newcomer by Detail Co. at the House of Rags, Glassy. The second one is Feynlab's window coating. We're going to apply both of these to a Honda CR-V. I'm going to walk you through all the steps on how to prepare the surface, how to apply the coating, and then we're going to test and see how well the hydrophobics work. So come on in and let's have some fun. Thanks for joining me in the garage today as we take a look at these two glass coatings, Feynlab window coating and Glassy by Detail Co. at the House of Rags. First, I want to tell you both of these products were provided to me at no cost by their respective vendors. They had no obligation. I have no obligation to them in terms of producing a video. They haven't seen the video, nor do they have any influence over what I am going to say or my impression of either product, but I wanted you to know that I did receive both of the products at no cost. So let me first tell you a little bit about the products. So Glassy is the newest product, and it comes in a 30 milliliter bottle. It's a glass coating, very simple to apply. And then Feynlab offers their window coating in two different options. You can buy it in the window coating kit, just like this, comes in this little container, and it includes 10 milliliters of the coating and a 50 milliliter bottle of glass polish and cleaner. So you do have to polish your glass before, you should anyway, before you apply any coating to the glass. So you don't have to use Feynlab's coating, window cleaner and polish. You can use any glass polish, or honestly, you can even use some paint polish if that's what you have on hand. Glass polish tends to work a little bit better if you have some imperfections in some water spots. Glass cleaner tends to work well, but you don't have to use that. Now, if you buy the window coating kit, I believe it costs about $46 and includes that 10 milliliters of the coating. On the other hand, if you buy just the window coating from Feynlab, you get a 30 milliliter bottle, just like you do at Detail Co. And they're both the same price, $34.99. So in other words, if you get a 30 ml bottle from Feynlab or a 30 milliliter bottle from Detail Co. at the House of Rags, they're both the same price. Feynlab, if you buy the kit, you do pay a little bit more to get the glass polish, but you also get less glass coating. So your choice, but I wanted you to know that it's available in both formulations in terms of you get it packaged with the polish or you can get it without the polish. And if you go without the polish, it's the same price as Detail Co. So in other words, cost, when we compare these two products, is going to be a non-issue because they're the same price when you buy 30 ml bottles. All right, so having all of that out of the way, we're going to get right into the preparation, which essentially is washing the vehicle, or really washing the glass, making sure it's nice and clean. Then we're going to do some polishing, and then we're going to panel prep both sides of the glass. And I will do Glassy on one half of the windshield on the passenger side. I will do Feynlab's coating on the driver's side. We will then allow those to cure several days, although you don't need to have them cure for several days, but I'm going to be out of town, so it'll be several days. And then we're going to test those short-term hydrophobics, and then I will bring you back multiple times over the next few months up to a year to see how well these coatings are performing, because I'm going to put them on my wife's Honda CR-V. So let's get right to it and start prepping the surface and then installing the coatings. Okay, I'm shaking up my polish. I am going to apply some to the applicator here, just about 4 little drops. Then I'm going to polish, and I'll do 2 or 3 passes on the glass at a fairly low speed. You can take a clean microfiber and then wipe that off the glass. This polish is fairly tacky on here. Now what I'm going to do is essentially continue to polish the glass all down here and on the other side. Then I will spray some panel prep on here, which I'll let you see. And then we're just going to spray some water and see if we have hydrophobics. Now the glass, again, my purpose for polishing was solely about removing the previous coating. So that's what we're going to verify, is that that coating is gone, because there shouldn't be any hydrophobics. If there are hydrophobics, then we'll come back and we'll polish again. So I'm going to go ahead, I'm not going to bore you with more polishing, but I'm going to polish all of this. Then I'll show you the panel prep, and then we're going to test to see if the hydrophobics are gone. Okay, so let's see if we have any hydrophobics at all on this windshield. All right, that looks pretty good to me. We're going to test it with a little high pressure and see what we get with the pressure washer on. Okay, I am satisfied that we completely eliminated hydrophobics from the glass. Show you that before and after. You can see that before there were definitely still hydrophobics. It's now gone. I'm going to dry this. Then I'm going to, I will probably panel prep again just to be safe. I don't know that that's absolutely necessary because there's really no oils. It's just the water. And then we're going to apply the coating, and I'll walk you through those steps. I am going to use Feynlab's prep spray on the driver's side because that's where I'm going to use the Feynlab coating. And I'll use Detail Co's prep on the other side, on the passenger side. Okay, now we're going to clean this side. I have Detail Co. I flipped over my microfiber towel. Okay, what you would expect is that without a coating on here, this should just stick right to the glass when you're, and that's because there's nothing on there to make it slick. The coatings really make it slick. We're now ready to apply the coating. I'm going to apply Feynlab to the driver's side of the glass, and we'll do Detail Co. Glassy to the passenger side. So I'm going to start on the driver's side because Feynlab has a little bit different in terms of its cure time. So you apply it. We'll prime the pad. I'm going to use the pink side of the pad for Feynlab. We will apply it in a crosshatch pattern, and you let that sit on there for a minimum of 35 minutes and up to 12 hours. So we're going to do at least 35 minutes, and then we will level it, whereas Classic Glassy is about a minute. And cure times also are very different. So Feynlab is generally around 12 to 24 hours before you expose to water, and Glassy is 1 hour. But we're not going to test this hydrophobics until after both sides are cured. All right, so I've shaken up the coating. I'm going to open it up. And as with all coatings, we're going to prime the pad, which means we'll want probably around 15, 20 drops, a fair amount on there. Well, you can see that. And then I am going to, this says really basically apply to about 1/3 of the glass. So we'll do half here. So you can see I did a line down the middle, and now I'm boxing in, and I'm going to go then straight across. This coating is very visible, really easy to see on the glass, and then I'm going to crosshatch. Okay, now I did get some on this trim. First thing I'm going to do is grab a towel and remove that right now, because this is not designed for trim and I don't want to get it on any of those other surfaces. All right, we're going to let that go, and then I am going to add a little bit more, and I'm going to do the bottom half of the glass here. And then we're going to, again, let that sit for 35 minutes. So just a few more drops. Put my line down the middle, go all the way across, box that in. I go up and down. This is a 1-layer coating, as is Classy Glassy. When I crosshatch, I'm, going about 50% over the previous row. And again, my goal is to make sure that I have coated thoroughly. All right, we are on the passenger side now for Classy Glassy. We have shaken it up, opening the coating. And again, I'm going to prime the pad, 15 to 20 drops. Close that back up. And I'm going to do a line down the center. And then box that in. It's gliding right on. And I am now going to do my crosshatch. Again, this is 1-layer coating. I'll add a little bit more and finish this side of the glass. Very simple installation. Just make sure that you're going about 50% over the previous line. That way you make sure you've got good coverage. And I'm seeing I'm getting a little bit on the trim at the bottom here over the engine cowl. I'll wipe that here in just a second. And that's it. Honestly, these glass coatings, pretty much like paint coatings. The hardest part is the prep, and the prep's really not that hard. Now we're going to let that sit for just about a minute or so. We're going to see it haze over and then kind of almost go invisible, and that's the signal that we can level. Now this coating does sweat a bit, so you'll see little bubbles, and then it pretty much starts to disappear. Taking my first towel, very slick already. I'm still seeing some lines on here that aren't off yet. I'm going to take my second towel. This is where I'm going to press harder, and I want to make sure that I've removed anything that's remaining on the surface. The glass should appear to be nice and clear. Make sure you check your trim and get all the way around the sides here. That is often where we all fail to level. Now, if you remember when we did some prep on the surface, we wanted this to be really grabby. I think you can see it is very slick. That's the normal behavior of a coated piece of glass. Should be extremely slick. All right, so that's the classy glassy side. We're going to wait again. I've got about another 15 or 20 minutes on the Feynlab side. We'll level that, and I'll be right back. All right, well, I wanted you to be able to see kind of how the Feynlab side's doing. It is actually, it's looking the same. It's just the way the light's hitting this, it looks like up here is much more visible than what's down here. And indeed, that's just the lighting, because when you come over here, you can see the same thing that you're seeing over up on top. All right, we have now been at over 35 minutes, so we're able to now level this on the Feynlab side. And yeah, this is coming off really easy. No grab really at all. I am noticing a little bit of lint. I'm not sure why that is. I'm using the same microfibers. I just flipped them. I didn't have lint on the other side. Maybe it's not as slick. Yeah, it may not be as slick as the classy glassy side. Interesting. Yeah, I don't think it is. Now that we have the coatings on the glass, I am going to test the hydrophobics. It's been several days since I put the coatings on the glass, so they've had plenty of time to cure. And now we're going to just test the hydrophobics. I'll do it first just with the stream of water from the pressure washer without any pressure. Remember, on the passenger side here, we have Classy Glassy and Feynlab on the driver's side. So that's Classy Glassy. I think you can see really good hydrophobics. Wow, that's fantastic. And on Feynlab side, I'd say we have really good hydrophobics as well. Not much of a surprise, honestly. You know, these are both good coatings. I've heard good things about them. I have not used either one, but you can see the water is just, you know, just falling off the surface. Just fantastic. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to just put some pressure on the pressure washer, turn it on so you can see what that looks like. Well, what did you think of the hydrophobics? Pretty cool, huh? I do. I really get excited about it because they both perform really well. And it's really neat to see how well the water repels off the surface. Whether at low pressure or high pressure, we had great hydrophobics displayed by both coatings. Now, I want to note a couple things. Number one, when I applied, if you recall that Glassy is a pretty short cure time. So that's really a nice feature, I think. I like the fact that I can apply it, wait 30 seconds to a minute, level it, buff it, and you're done. Feynlab's, on the other hand, again, applied very easy, but you have to wait 35 minutes to 12 hours before you can level it. Now, it doesn't mean you have to wait 12 hours, just a minimum of 35 minutes, but you can wait longer if you wish. So, doesn't matter to me. I prefer the shorter time myself, but that's not a deal breaker by any means. I will tell you though, if you remember, I had one slight issue with leveling and buffing on the Feynlab coating, and that was there was some lint on the glass. And what was interesting to me was I had lint on there, but I used the same microfiber. I had just flipped it. So I used the same microfiber that I had done on Glassy without any lint. I went to the Feynlab side, flipped the microfiber so it was a clean side, and had lint. And so I asked Feynlab about that, and I talked to the sales rep, who's a detailer, obviously, and knows the products. He said he has had that happen with some of the coatings a couple of times. He said usually that is due to the solvents that are used by Feynlab and mixing of those with a certain microfiber can cause some of the linting. I hadn't experienced that before. I was afraid maybe I did something wrong. Maybe I didn't level soon enough or I leveled too long. Wasn't sure. He said no. He suggested that. He said, look, you can use the Feynlab hybrid detailer spray after about 30 minutes to an hour, and that would remove that lint and, bonus, provide you some immediate protection so that vehicle really could leave your shop or leave your home immediately because it has a layer on there protecting to allow the ceramic to cure. And he said, you know, Bruce, I use that detail spray, that hybrid detailer from Feynlab, whenever I coat a vehicle, whether it's paint or glass or wheels, I use it because it gives an extra layer of protection. So should the customer need to take the vehicle sooner, should it get exposed to water maybe a little bit sooner than it should, it's got protection. And that made sense to me because I had P&S tell me the same thing with their stout coating, was that you could use Inspiration Defender and you could spray that on the coating surface after you apply the coating, and it allows you to release that vehicle immediately, and it has some protection right away so the coating can complete its curing process. So that's a nice tip. As I noticed the vehicle today, it's about a week later since when I applied it. I was out of town and the lint is gone. There wasn't any lint there. So it was not a big deal, but I will tell you it was one of those things that just kind of caught my attention because honestly, Glassy was super easy. So now the proof is going to be in how long these last. What's the longevity? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to allow these coatings to remain on my wife's vehicle. We're going to let her use her wipers however she normally does. If she doesn't use them, that's great too. But we're going to then monitor over time how well the coating performs, and I will bring you updates at least every 3 months. And if something changes, I will bring you an update sooner. So we'll know really ultimately, is there a winner here? I would say today, the winner I would nudge out a bit and go for Glassy. Easier, a little bit easier application because you didn't have to wait as long to level and buff. And lastly is that lint issue. But I'll reserve final judgment to allow these coatings to perform. And if one ends up being a lot more durable than the other, then that may win out over just that application process because it wasn't a huge deal at all. Listen, I appreciate you taking the time to watch. If you found this helpful at all, I'd appreciate a thumbs up. If you have any questions, I'm here at the ready to answer them in the comments. So please feel free to chime in, or you have any other thoughts. And I'd appreciate a subscription too. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. Stay tuned for the updates. And remember, most importantly, just go in your garage and have fun detailing. Have a great day.